Der Regisseur, Justin Kurzel. Und die beiden Hauptdarsteller. Die wunderbaren, the wonderful Marion Cotillard und Michael Fassbender. So good morning and welcome, and I'll take this opportunity to say it again, Justin, and tell you right now that you've made the Citizen Kane of video game adaptations.
Wow.
And that's meant as a compliment.
I'll leave.
That's meant as a compliment. What was, I'll ask all of you, what was for you personally the most important thing to get on screen? Maybe we'll start with Marion.
Well, it's always authenticity for me, and I mean, the script was really amazing. It was a perfect mix of entertainment and of very interesting and deep questioning about violence, about free will, about how human beings deal with power and how they use it. But I would say authenticity for every project. It's the goal to reach, I think.
I think, well, first of all, I wanted something entertaining. It was, it's obviously of a sort of genre film that, there's an entertainment factor there. And on top of that, I wanted something that had something extra than perhaps a lot of these sort of films in this genre don't represent, a bit of depth to them, something that really echoed, in some respects, the world that we live in, but also this concept of DNA memory or genetic memory. I thought that that at the core of it, when I met the guys from Ubisoft, because I didn't really know anything about Assassin's Creed, I met the guys at Ubisoft and they said they wanted to make a film of it. They started to explain this concept of DNA memory, and I thought, wow, that's really plausible as a scientific theory. I believe that. The fact that we carry the knowledge of our ancestors in our DNA, their experience, their memories, we hold that in ourselves. I thought, well, this, that concept alone is going to elevate this above most of these kind of sort of fantasy sort of genre projects. And then the concept of the Templars and Assassins, this idea that there's, an elite group in the world, and we can always identify that, and that's familiar to us, people that run the world, and they believe in order, and they believe in science in terms of sort of the evolution of mankind. And they also believe that some humans are more important than others, and that in fact some humans should be enslaved. And then you have this group of people called the Assassins, this brotherhood, this creed, and they believe that at all costs, free will should be protected and maintained. I thought that all of those concepts for me, I thought would make for a really good cinema.
Well, I think when Michael first talked to me about the project, and really the whole conversation was about genetic memory and about the notion of your blood never dying. I found that quite a moving concept, and I guess I'd gone through the death of my father recently, and also the birth of my children, and the notion and idea that you were responsible in some way to passing over your experiences in your blood. I thought that was a very powerful human idea. I was really surprised it was part of a video game, and then I thought it was really cinematic. So it was there in the script and the story when we started working on it, and it just had an emotional punch that I thought was very unique. And then it was really kind of how do you bring this the concept of the video game and the look and feel of it to life as a piece of cinema, and how do you sort of create a world where you could possibly feel that Assassins existed and can do these extraordinary skills. So that then became a very exciting, ambitious approach in regards to seeing whether we could pull off this extraordinary game as something that was living and breathing.
Okay, so we'll take questions from the floor. White shirt, second row. There'll be a microphone coming.
My name is Mark Karapetian, editor of the film magazine Spirit, A Smile in a Storm. A question to Mr. Fassbender. Thank you for the movie. It was entertaining and had also historical background. Assassin's Creed is a game, and are you a gamer, and did you prepare to play it for doing the movie when you played the game?
I am not a gamer, but I did play it once I'd come on board to sort of get an idea of the world, to see, obviously what the guys at Ubisoft had created, and also to get an idea of, some of the shapes for the characters and the regressions, the sort of assassin sort of kill sort of shapes, if you will, and how they move and the parkour elements of it. So yes, but no.
Hi, I'm Harvest from RTL Television. I run a cinema magazine, and I have also a live streaming here. So hello to the German fans, please. Thank you. And I have two questions. My first question is for Marion and Michael. Michaela Duxman and Adrian Wienekamp asking, did you know the video game before you signed up for the movie, and did you like the game?
I think I just answered that. So yeah, I wasn't aware of the game until I met the guys from Ubisoft.
Well, I had heard of the game, but I have never played it. I've never played it since. But one of my best friends is a #1 fan, and she sat me under the chair, told me everything about the game, tortured me to have some information about the movie that I never get.
Strapped you into the endless.
kind of. So when I arrived on the project, I had a pretty good understanding of the game and how fascinating it was for the gamers, and also how fascinating it became for me, because, as Michael said, this all DNA and genetic memory is really fascinating.
To Michael, Patrick Bridge is asking, during the shooting of all the action scenes, were there maybe some dangerous situations because of all these stunt things?
Not really. There's always an element of risk somewhat, but I was training in the gym just to sort of get sort of physical conditioning in order, so that I had some strength, so that I could go through the 4 months, hopefully without getting an injury. Nowadays in film, there's a lot of obviously safety that comes first in terms when you're doing things. We were up on top of buildings and hanging off wires, but it's as safe as it can be in those sort of scenarios.
Hi, my name is Sophia from Promi Flash magazine. I have a question for all three of you. After watching the movie on my walk home, I was thinking about this whole memory traveling things, and I asked myself, which historical person is there, which memory I would like to travel through. So I would like to ask you guys, is there a historical or a person from your family who maybe passed away or something, you would like to travel their memories?
I'll go with Jesus Christ. He's not a family relative, but or maybe he is to all of us. But yeah, I'd like to sort of see something of that time.
I would go pretty far. I would. No, I think I would go to as far as I could in my lineage, and so my first ancestors maybe in the Stone Age or something like that. And then around the time men started to think about their condition and why they were, why we are here. And the first philosophical question.
He's not dead yet, but I think the memories of Keith Richards would be pretty.
He doesn't even remember.
Well, I know, that's why I think that'd be pretty amazing. So he'd be up there for me.
The ones he can remember still.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Thomas? Also, dritte Reihe bitte. Werf dir mein Mikrofon zu.
Hi, this is a question for Marion, Michael. Getting away from the film for a bit, with the US, yes, this is going to be political for a bit, with the US poised to turn more isolationist and maybe like a tad bit, or more than just a tad bit more xenophobic in the foreseeable future. And you working in Hollywood a lot, and quite successfully too. Do you feel that working there, working in Hollywood as foreigners is going to be more complicated for you, or is it just at your level of, say, stardom? It's not really important how politics change there, because basically you're in demand and you're good at what you do, and so how do you feel about what working there would be like in the foreseeable future?
I have no idea. I think we're all, connected to politics and responsible for what's going on in the world, for sure. I'm not happy with the sort of idea of sort of this xenophobic sort of rise, not just in the US, I think it's happening here as well. It's just a little bit sad, really, that these sort of old ways of segregating people and sort of, using fear and hate as a way to sort of rally up certain people. I guess we're talking about the election in terms of sort of getting elected, and that's something that's sort of tried and tested over and over in the generations. I think the problem is we get kind of arrogant. We think that we've evolved from what happened, let's say, 60 years ago, over 60 years ago. And I don't think we have really, that these sort of things show up all the time. The idea that, humans tend to be, we are just very tribal, and it's worrying, for sure. It's a worrying time. What will happen now, I guess we're all waiting to see. What sort of led to an election could have been a sort of way to get a vote. Whether that sort of mindset continues on through now is something that we're all waiting to see. But it's worrying, for sure. Like I say, not just over here, over there, here as well.
I think in time of darkness, artists have a tendency to unite stronger, which I think is a good thing, and also creativity out of a need of revolution is takes different aspects that might go, deeper in the question of human beings, and I think it's also a good thing. Now, to answer your question, about technically having problems to go work there, I cannot answer. I think this is the artistic world needs to understand what happened when a lot of artists gathered around maybe a more open project, and it didn't work. They were driven by dreams that didn't spread on the American society, and it's a question that we need to face today. But I think we always have to see what positivity we can take out of darkness, and let's spread creativity more than words. And I think that through creativity we can find a way to reunite a very divided world. And I think that's, as an artist, that's all I can do, and all that I can think of is going deeper into my creativity to get closer and to have a better understanding of what's happening in this world.
Let's stop Trump and go back to the movie. Yes?
Hello, Marius from German Public Radio. Question to Justin. I was very amazed from the look, especially from the sets. Where did you shoot all those scenes, especially inside the facility, and how did you find them?
We shot in Valletta in Malta, and we mainly shot there because right from the beginning the discussions that we all had was to not do this on a parking lot in front of a green screen, to really feel as though the action sequences and the physical expression of these assassins were authentic and were real and had effort in them. So, you know, we got this wonderful opportunity, and the studio backed it to do a lot of that stuff for real, and actually put, you know, Michael and Ariane and the stunt guys up on top of these roofs to see whether you could actually physically jump some of these, you know, these stunts that you get to do in the game. And then we were fortunate enough to shoot in Almeria, which was special to me because I'm a big fan of Sergio Leone, and all his, you know, a lot of his westerns were shot there in that landscape, and then also in London. So it was you know, to make a film that way is difficult, and maybe I was being a bit naive as to kind of, you know, how challenging it was to shoot a lot of this stuff for real in real locations, but I think ultimately in the end it kind of created a very particular kind of look and feel for the film.
I have more questions from this side. Johannes and then Manuel, okay?
Johannes from Indak. I have a question to both actors. Playing along with visual effects is changing, I think, acting in a strong way nowadays. You played in both fields, not visual effects and visual effects. How do you feel acting with visual effects, and how will that develop into the future?
I think what makes it easier when you deal with special effect is to have a very good director, and that will create this atmosphere and this environment of authenticity in a way, and he will actually make you believe that you are seeing something that you're not seeing, but you believe that you're seeing. And well, for me, it was. I mean, yeah, the Animus. I was.
Looking into space most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Marion was like, "What am I looking at? What's going on here?" We hadn't invented it as well.
But the thing, they had shot Malta and all the Inquisition before I got on board. I mean, before I started shooting. So Justin showed me the images, and that was really spectacular. And also the whole team. They were very active with sticks and tennis balls, but I mean, the main thing is how the director will put you in situation and will, get your brain where the reality is, even if around you there's not much.
I think it's kind of like theater. You know, if you're doing a play and you're supposed to be in Moscow or somewhere, you know, anywhere, you have to imagine the surroundings. And I've always thought that it's the same thing with green screen. the thing is with this film is, like Justin said, it was very important for him and for all of us involved that we wanted to do this old school. We wanted to sort of not go into that CGI world just because this genre is just saturated with it, and we wanted to do something different. The future, I think probably virtual reality. So it'll be sort of, you know, a marriage of both, the gaming world and the cinema experience.
It's Patrick, actually. I have a question for Justin. On first look, a video game and Shakespeare don't have much in common. So how did you go from Macbeth to this? Was it a stretch for you? Was it the challenge that you were looking for?
No, I think adaptations have been, you're adapting a video game and you're adapting a Shakespeare play, you're kind of using the same muscles, you know, in terms of storytelling and how you sort of translate it into cinema. So I actually found that quite similar, but the enormity of making a film this large, it is like a big tanker. You just can't, with Macbeth it was like this little catamaran that you could keep on tacking and change and shift, and the three of us were kind of the sailors on it, and it was really lovely and intimate. This was just one big chunk of metal heading towards its destination that you could sort of sway left or right a little bit, and I found that really challenging. You know, how you keep the spontaneity of performance and finding even moments in the action really fresh. It's just the scale. It's just the and 90. You know, we shot for 92, 93 days. Macbeth was 32. The first film I did was like 25, and it gets to like the 60th day, and you just don't know who you are anymore. It's quite amazing. You know, it's an absolute kind of marathon. But no, I was really fortunate. It was one of the big reasons to do this was, you know, can you kind of survive a film like this and make something of this scale, but also try to bring a kind of humanity into it that sort of lands and grounds it.
I'd like to know. Oh no, I'm on. Thank you. I in general just would like to know, like, what's the main difference between the narratives of a classical movie and like a video game, as like the techniques have been developed so much like in the last few years. So where's the main difference?
So between what?
Like the narratives, like the way that you like present a movie and the way that you present like a game. I understand, like, in order just to prepare to this movie, because this pays tribute to the game. As a gamer who used to play that game, I totally felt like I'm into it. But I understand that some people who are not so used to video games might be a bit disoriented and being like, oh, I don't really get it. So you must have seen like a similarity, or at least even like a difference. And that's why I'm asking you where you see the difference between the narratives.
We were really fortunate in that Ubisoft gave us an incredible amount of freedom. And Michael had been developing the screenplay 2 years before I came on board. So there was already a process of wanting to create something that, you know, was celebrating the game and the kind of iconic moments and look of the game, but then recreating brand new characters and also timelines and settings. So that there was an incredible freedom with that. So I mean, there wasn't a checklist, you know, of you need, you know, 3 leap of faiths and, you know, 2 blade kills, and it was never any of that. It was very much an encouraged experience of coming up with a story and you know, finding the sort of cinema in the game. But I don't think we ever felt shackled to an expectation. Having said that, though, there's so many great things in this game that are so, you know, wonderfully loved by those that play it, that it was pretty hard not to want to embrace them and kind of celebrate them in the film.
I think the challenge too is like the universe of Assassin's Creed is so dense. There's so much in there that the real challenge to begin with was trying to distill it down to very, you know, to key things. So Templars, Assassins, the Apple of Eden, and genetic memory. And if we could sort of, you know, stay on those things and try and, you know, get those concepts across for people who hadn't played the game, that was already a lot, you know. And that was the sort of, and the concept of the animus, of course, which Justin and his art department really took to the next level, because in the game, you know, the animus is a chair. It's so anybody sort of journeying through the animus is an inert figure. We wanted to have, you know, some physicality in that role for Cal, so he's just not lying in a chair while Aguilar is running around doing his thing. So, you know, we had different ideas. Do we put it in water? Is the animus like this liquid thing? And then Justin and his team came up with the animus arm, which is great. It's sort of, you know, I think even the guys at Ubisoft are like, wow, maybe we'll use that in the future. So it's nice when you get that cross-pollination going on.
So we've reached the moment of the last question, which is always the best question in the press conference, and no pressure, no pressure. So you had your turn, so that the lady in the third last row. Looking forward to your question.
Hi, my name is Rikkin. It's such an honor to have you here. And I would like to ask you, as an actor, which was more challenging to play, which time in the movie?
Just different things, really. I mean, Aguilar's all physical, pretty much. You know, we knew that the regressions were going to be where the action of the film was going to lie. And the sort of more, there is action, of course, in the present day in Abstergo, but that's more the sort of psychological drama part of it. You know, I don't know. I mean, for both characters, I get, you know, the physicality was mainly, to be honest with you, was the producer role of this, you know, and sort of getting together with Ubisoft, you know, 5 years ago, getting writers on board, developing the script. You know, just being there really from the, you know, from when it was a seed to now. That was a new role for me. I'd produced before on Slow West, but that was like, you know, $2 million film. As Justin said, this thing's like a, you know, a liner. It's, you know, it's just, it's such a massive sort of piece. So that was really the big challenge for me, to be honest.
Marion? Want to add something?
I don't think the question was for me because I'm only in the present time.
And you look closer.
Oh, yes. Let's wait for more.
Okay, so thank you very much. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Justin.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Director, and thank you.